Hello children, today I'm having a picnic. I love a picnic, don't you? Our story today is about the biggest picnic ever. Tim heard a growl. What was that? Then he suddenly realised it was him. His tummy was grumbling and growling. He had been listening intently to the teacher all morning, and now it was well into the afternoon. The sun had been high in the sky, and he was feeling very hot as well as hungry. He hadn't eaten since very early that morning, and he had had no idea that it had got so late. He had never heard a teacher telling such marvellous stories before, and the time had just flown by. It only felt like a few minutes, but now he knew he must have been listening for hours. The crowds of people around him were also beginning to get a bit fidgety. They were feeling hungry too. Then Tim heard the teacher say to his friends, "Go and find some food for the people to eat." "But how are we going to find enough food for all these people to eat, and how will we pay for it?" the one called Philip asked. Tim suddenly jumped up. He squeezed through the crowds and ran up to Peter and tugged his cloak. "Please, sir, but I have some food you can have. My mum's a great cook and she gave me this packed lunch today, which I haven't eaten yet. It's not much, but maybe it'll help." Peter looked down at him and said, "Oh, well, that's very kind of you, but don't you want it?" "Well, I am hungry, but the teacher seems so kind and told such amazing stories, and I've had such a great time listening to him. I just thought I'd really love to share my lunch with him." Peter smiled and led Tim over to the teacher. "This boy says he'd like to share his lunch with you. It's not much, but he's happy to let you have it." Then the teacher bent down and took the basket from Tim. He lifted the cloth covering the food and said to Tim, 2 fishes and 5 delicious-looking bread rolls. That's very kind of you, Tim. Thank you." Tim thought he had never seen such a lovely face in all his life. His heart was beating so loudly he felt it would burst right out of his chest. The teacher actually wanted to use Tim's lunch and had even thanked him. He even knew his name. Tim felt so proud and happy. Then the teacher looked up into the sky and raised his hands and said a prayer of thanks for the food, for Tim's mum for preparing the food, and for Tim who had kindly shared it. He then handed the basket of food to his friends, who began to pass it around to all the people so they could help themselves. It was astonishing to see them take as much food as they wanted. Even Tim had more than he could eat. And when all the people in the crowd had finished eating, the teacher's friends went around and collected up the leftovers. Do you know what? They gathered up no less than 12 baskets full of leftover food. That day, 5,000 men and all the ladies and all the children had the most delicious picnic ever. It must have been the world's biggest picnic with the most leftovers, and it should really go in the Guinness Book of Records. But you can find it in the Bible. See if you can find it. Of course, you guessed that story is about a miracle that Jesus performed with the young boy's lunch. I'm certain that the boy became a faithful follower of Jesus for the rest of his life. We don't know his name, but it's a lovely story about the gift of sharing and we can do the same. If we share some of the many blessings we have and show the love of Jesus to others by the way we act, we will be sharing in the work of Jesus and make others happy as well as ourselves. It's fun to share, isn't it? I need to go and find someone to share my picnic with now. Bye!